Hi Mark, this is Michael. My student number is S0141007. The speech title is Teach Every Child About Food, and I'm in the senior class at NCUE, and I'm going to read the TED Talk speech. Teach Every Child About Food by Jamie Oliver. Sadly, in the next 18 minutes when I do our chat, 4 Americans that are alive will be dead through the food that they eat. My name is Jen Oliver. I'm 34 years old. I'm from Essex in England, and for the last 7 years I've worked fairly tirelessly to save lives in my own way. I'm not a doctor, I'm a chef. I don't have expensive equipment or medicine. I use information, education. I profoundly believe that power of food has a primal place in our home that binds us to the best bite of life. We have an awful reality right now. America, you're at the top of your game. This is one of the most unhealthy countries in the world. Can I please just see a raise of a hand for how many of you have children in this room today? Put your hands up. You can continue to put your hands up. Auntie, uncles as well. Most of you okay. We, the adults of the last 4 generations, have blessed our children with the destiny of a shorter lifespan than their own parents. Your child will live a life 10 years younger than you because of the landscape of food that we've built around them. Two-thirds of this room today in America are statistically overweight or obese. You lot, you're right, but we'll get you eventually, don't worry. Laughter. The statistics of bad health are clear, very clear. We spend our life being paranoid about death, murder, homicide, you name it. It's on the front page of every paper, CNN. Look at homicide at the bottom, for God's sake, right? Laughter. Applause. Every single one of those in the red is a diet-related disease. Any doctor, any specialist will tell you that. Fact. Diet-related disease is the biggest killer in the United States. Right now, here, today, this is a global problem. It's a catastrophe. It's sweeping the world. Ignorance is right behind you, as usual. Laughter. I know they were close, but not that close. We need a revolution. Mexico, Australia, Germany, India, China all have the massive problem of obesity and bad health. Think about smoking. It costs way less than obesity now. Obesity costs you American 10% of your health care bill. 150 billion dollars a year. In 10 years, it's set to double. $300 billion a year. Let's be honest, guy. You haven't got that cash. Laughter. I came here to start the food revolution that I so profoundly believe in. We need it. The time is now. We are in a tipping point moment. I've been doing this for 7 years. I've been trying in America for 7 years. Now is the time when it's ripe for the picking. I went to the eyes of the storm. I went to the West Virginia, the most unhealthy state in America. Or it was last year. We've got a new one this year, but we'll work on that next season. Laughter. Huntington, West Virginia. Beautiful town. I want to put heart and soul and people your public around the statistic that we've become so used to. I want to introduce you to some of the people that I care about, your public, your children. I want to show a picture of my friend Brittany. She is 16 years old. She's got 6 years to live because of the food that she eaten. She's the third generation of Americans that hasn't grown up within the food environment where they've been taught to cook at home or in school, or her mom's mom. She has 6 years to live. She's eating her liver to death. Stacy, the Edwards family. This is a normal family, guys. Stacy does her best, but she's third generation as well. She was never taught to cook at home or at school. The family's obese. Justin here, 12 years old. He's 350 pounds. He gets bullied for God's sake. The daughter there, Katie, she's 4 years old. She's obese before she even get to the primary school. Marissa, she's alright. She's one of your lot. But you know what? Her father, who was obese, died in her arm. And then the second most important man in her life, her uncle, died of obesity. And now her stepdad is obese. You see, the thing is, obesity and diet-related disease doesn't just hurt the people that have it. It also is all of their friends, family, brother, sister. Pastor Steve, an inspired nation man, one of my early ally in Huntington, West Virginia. He's at the sharp knife edge of his problem. He has to bury the people, okay? And he's fed up with it. He's fed up with burying his friend, his family, his community. Come winter, 3 times as many people die. He's sick of it. This is preventable disease. Wasted of life. By the way, this is what they get burying. We're not geared up to do this. Can't even get them out the door, and I'm being serious. Can't even get them there. Forklift. Okay, I see it as a triangle, okay? This is our landscape of food. I need you to understand it. You've probably heard all this before. Over the last 30 years, what happened that's ripped the out of these countries. Let's be frank and honest. Well, modern day life. Let's start with Main Street. Fast food had taken over the whole country. We know that. The big brands are some of the most important powerful power in this country. Side. Supermarket as well. Big companies. 30 years ago, most of the food was largely local and largely fresh. Now it's largely processed and full of all sorts of addictive extra ingredients, and you know the rest of the story. Portion size is obviously a massive problem. Labeling is a massive problem. The labeling is in this country is a disgrace. The industry wants to self-police themselves. What? In this kind of climate? They don't deserve it. How can you say something is low fat when it's full of so much sugar? Home. The biggest problem with the home is that used to be the heart of passing on food culture. What made our society? It is not happening anymore, and you know, as we go to work and as life change, and as life always evolve, we kind of people to look at is holistically. Step back for a moment and readdress the balance. It hasn't happened for 30 years, okay? I want to show you a situation that is very normal right now. The Edwards family. Video. James Oliver. Let's have a talk. This stuff goes through you and your family's body every week. And I need you to know that this is going to kill your children early. How are you feeling? Stacy. Just feeling really sad and depressed right now. But you know, I want my kid to succeed in life, and this isn't going to get them there. But I'm killing them. Joe. Yes, you are. But we can stop it. Normal. Let's get on school. Something that I'm fairly much a specialist in. Okay, school. What is school? We invented it. What's the purpose of the school? School was always invented to arm us with the tool to make us creative, do wonderful things, make us earn a living, etc., etc., etc. You know, it's been kind of in this sort of tight box for a long, long time, okay? But we haven't really evolved it to deal with the health catastrophe of America, okay? School food is something that most kids, 31 million a day, actually have twice a week, more than often, breakfast and lunch, 180 days of the year. So you could say that school food is quite important, really judging the circumstance. Laughter. Before I crack into my rant, which I'm sure you were waiting for, laughter, I need to say one thing, and it's so important in, hopefully, the magic that happened and unfold in the next 3 months. The lunch lady, the lunch cook of America. I offer myself as their ambassador. I'm not slagging them off. They are doing the best they can do. They are doing their best, but they are doing what they are told, and what they are being told to do is wrong. The system is highly run by accountants. There is not enough or any food knowledgeable people in the business. There's a problem. If you're not a food expert and you've got tight budget and it's getting tighter, then you can't be creative. You can't duck and dive and write different things around things. If you are an accountant and a box ticker, the only thing you can do in these circumstances is buy cheaper shit. Now, the reality is the food that your kids get every day is fast food. It's highly processed. There is not enough fresh food in there at all. You know, the amount of additive, numbers, ingredient you wouldn't believe. There's not enough veggies at all. French fries are considered a vegetable. Pizza for breakfast. They don't even get crockery. Knives and forks? No, they're too dangerous. They have scissors in the classroom, but knife and forks? No. And the way I look at it is, if you don't have knife and fork in your school, you're purely endorsing from a state level fast food because it's handheld. And yes, by the way, it's fast food. It's sloppy Joe. It's burger. It's wiener. It's pizza. It's all of that stuff. Side. 10% of what we spend on healthcare, as I said earlier, is on obesity. And it's going to double. We're not teaching our kid. There are no statutory rights to teach our kid about food. Elementary or secondary school, okay? We don't teach kids about food, right? And this is a little clip for an elementary school, which is very common in England. Video. Who know what this is? Child, potatoes. Jamie Oliver, potato? So you think these are potatoes? Do you know what that is? Do you know what that is? Child, broccoli.
Do you know what that is? What about
Jamie Oliver, what about this? Our good old friend, child, celery. No. What do you think this is? Child, onion. James Oliver, onion? No. James Oliver, immediately you get a real clear sense of, do the kids know anything about where food come from? Who knows what that is? Child, pear? James Oliver, what do you think this is? Child, I don't know. Jamie Oliver, if the kids don't know what the stuff is, then they will never eat it. Laughter. Jamie Oliver, normal, England and America. Guess what fixed that? 2 1-hour section. We've got to start teaching our kid about food in school. Period. Applause. I want to tell you about something that kind of epitomizes the trouble that we are in, guys, okay? I want to talk about something so basic as milk. Every kid has a right to milk at school. Your kids will be having milk at school, breakfast and lunch, right? They will be having 2 bottles, okay? And most of kids do. But milk ain't good enough anymore. Don't get me wrong, I support milk. But someone at the milk board probably paid a lot of money for some geezer to work out that if you put loads of flavoring, coloring, and sugar in the milk, more kids will drink it. Yeah. Obviously now that's going to catch on the Apple board is going to work out that if they make tofu apple, they'll eat more as well. Do you know what I means for me? Do you know what I mean? For me, there isn't any need to flavor the milk, okay? There's sugar in everything. I know the ins and outs of those ingredients. It's in everything. Even the milk hasn't escaped the kind of modern day problems. There's our milk. There's our carton. In that is nearly as much sugar as one of your favorite cans of fizzy pop. And they are having 2 a day. So let me just show you. We've got one kid here having, 8 tablespoons of sugar a day. There's your week, there's your month. And I've taken the liberty of putting in just the 5 years of elementary school sugar, just for milk. Now, I don't know about you guys, but judging the circumstances, right? Any judges in the whole world will look at the statistic and the evidence, and they will find any government of all guilty of child abuse. That's my belief. Applause. Applause and now if I came up here, I wish I could come up here today and hand a cure for AIDS or cancer. You would be fighting and scrambling to get me. All this bad news is preventable. That's the good news. It's very, very preventable. So let's just think about we got a problem here. We need to reboot. Okay, so in my word, what do we need to do? Here's the thing, right? It cannot just come from one source. To reboot and make real change, so that I could look you in the white of the eyes and say, in 10 years' time, the history of your children's lives, happiness, and let's not forget, you're clever if you eat well. You know you are going to live longer, all of that stuff. You will look different, okay? So supermarket. Where else do you shop so religiously, week in, week out? How much money do you spend in your life in the supermarket? Love them. They just sell us what we want, alright? They owe us to put a food ambassador in every major supermarket. They need to help us shop. They need to show us how to cook quick, tasty, seasonal meals for people that are busy. This is not expensive. It's done in some, and it needs to be done across the board in America soon. And quick. The big brand, the food brand, need to put food education at the heart of their business. I know, easier said than done. It's the future. It's the only way. Fast food. With the fast food industry, it's very competitive. I've had loads of secret papers and they're dealing with fast food restaurants. I know how they do it. I mean, basically they've weaned us on to this hit of sugar, salt, and fat, and X, Y, and Z, and everyone loves them, right? So, these guys are going to be part of the solution, but we need to get the government to work with all of the fast food purveyor and the restaurant industry. and over a 5, 6, 7 years period wean of us off the extreme amount of fat, sugar, and all of other non-food ingredients. Now, also, back to the sort of big brand labeling I said earlier, it's an absolute farce and has got to be sorted. Okay, school. Obviously in school. We owe it to them to make sure those 180 days of the year, from that little precious age of 4 until 18, 20, 24, whatever, they need to be cooked proper. Fresh food from local growers on site, okay? There needs to be a new standard of fresh, proper food for your children, yeah? Applause. Under the circumstances, it's profoundly important that every single American child leaves school knowing how to cook 10 recipes that will save their life skill. Applause. That means that they can be student, young parent, and be able to sort of duck and dive around the basic of cooking, no matter what recession hits them next time. If you can cook, recession money doesn't matter. If you can cook, time doesn't matter. The workplace, we haven't really talked about it. It's now time for corporate responsibility to really look at what they feed or make available to their staff. The staff are the mom and dads of American children. Marissa, her father died in her hand. I think she will be quite happy if corporate America could start feeding their staff properly. Definitely they shouldn't be left out. Let's go back to the home. Now look, if we do all this stuff, and we can, it's so achievable. You can care and be commercial, absolutely. But the home needs to start passing on cooking again, for sure. For sure, passing it on as a philosophy, as for me, is quite romantic. But it's about if one person teach 3% how to cook something, and they teach 3 of their mates, that only has to repeat itself 25 times, and that's the whole population of America. Romantic, yes, but most importantly, it's about trying to get people to realize that every one of your individual effort makes a difference. We've got to put back what's been lost. Huntington Kitchen, where I made this program. We've got this prime time program that hopefully will inspire people to really get on this change. I truly believe that change will happen. Huntington Kitchens. I work with a community. I work in a school. I found local sustainable funding to get every single true school in the area from the junk onto the fresh food. $6.5 grand per school. Applause. That's all it takes. $6.5 grand per school. The kitchen is 25 grand a month. Okay? This can do 5,000 people a year, which is 10% of their population. And it's people on people, It's local cook teaching local people. It's free cooking lesson, guys, in the main street. This is real tangible change. Around America. If we just look back now, there is a plenty of wonderful things going on. There's plenty of beautiful things going on. There are angels around America doing great things in school, farm to school, set up, garden set up, education. There are amazing people doing this already. The problem is they all want to roll out what they are doing to the next school, but there is no cash. We need to recognize the expert and the angel quickly, identify them, and allow them to easily find the resource to keep rolling out what they are already doing and doing well. Business of America need to support Mr. Obama. Need to support. Mrs. Obama to do the thing that she wants to do. Applause. And look, I know it's weird having an English person standing here before you talking about all this. All I can say is I care. I'm a father, and I love this country. And I believe truly, actually, that if change can be made in this country, beautiful things will happen around the world. If America does it, other people will follow. It's incredible. It's incredible important. Audience, yeah. Applause. When I was in Huntington, I tried to get a few things to work when they weren't. I thought, if I have a magic wand, what would I do? And I thought, you know what? I'd just love to be put in front of some of the most amazing movers and shakers in America. And a month later, Ted phoned me up and gave me this award. I'm here, so my wish. There's a there's a Lexi. There's a Lexi sick. So I'm a bit slow. There's a Lexi, so I'm a bit slow. My wish is for you to help a strong, sustainable movement to educate every child about food, to inspire families to cook again, and to empower people everywhere to fight obesity. Applause. Thank you. Applause continues. And this is the end of my speech. Thank you, Mark.